I'm Adam Calaway. I'm at Cattle Chat Corner here at NCBA 2014 in Nashville, Tennessee. I am here with Weldon Wynn. You are chairman of the Cattlemen's Beef Board, correct? So tell me a little bit about what you do for them and a little bit about your personal operation.
I have a cow-calf operation back home in Arkansas, as well as I'm in 3 or 4 good business ventures. But here at the Cattlemen's meeting, I am the chair of the Beef Board. And we represent 730,000 people across this country. All the cattle producers is who I represent, from one end of this good nation to the other.
What do you do for them, and what information do you pass along from them to them?
Being the chair, I wear a certain hat here.
Let's talk about some of the topics that have come up in the last year. There's a burrito company that is making commercials that portray agriculture as like a factory. How do you respond to that as a producer and someone also in the industry?
Come on down to my own farm and ranches. That's what I'd like to tell them, to come on down. Look at my operation. Look at my neighbors' operations. Look at the farms and ranches I've been to across this country. We're not a factory farm by any means. My cattle are well taken care of. We make sure that they've got the water and feed supply that they need every day to exist. Our cattle are always, we try to keep those cattle graded to where that we know what's happening out on the pastures. I'd invite them to come see us. Our cattle's taken as good a care of as I am. So that's about as easy as I could answer that question.
One of the other things is McDonald's talked about purchasing verifiable sustainable beef by 2016. What does sustainability mean to you, and maybe how does that differ from what you think a consumer thinks sustainability is?
Well, sustainability has got different meanings for different folks. Me as a producer, my cattle, I was in sustainability business for the last 35, 40 years that I've been raising cattle. To a consumer, it means a different deal. So I'm sustainable on my farms. We have to be sustainable. We were there before they ever knew what that word really was. So I feel comfortable that what we're doing as farmers and ranchers to continue on in this what they call the game we're playing with sustainability.
Well, then what are some of the things that most producers do, including you, to be sustainable, those things that keep you going?
Those things that keep us going today is how that we're going to produce that calf crop every year. I'm a cow-calf producer. We've got to make sure that our land, we're stewards of the land, number one. That's the first thing we are. I'm going to leave it in better shape than what I got it for my grandchildren, okay? So we're going to make that land sustainable. That's the first thing that we got to do in order to produce that calf that's coming off. Again, it means different things to different folks. I want you to understand what I'm trying to say to you here. But sustainability, where we're concerned as producers, is having the proper amount of water there. We've got to have the proper amount of feed. Our cattle are taken care of, so that's sustainable to me for the next generation.
Let's talk a little bit about the economics of producing a calf today. We're at the smallest calf herd we've had, or cow-calf herd we've had since 1952. And so tell us, maybe the consumer that might be watching this, what are some of the factors that go into impacting the size of a cow herd?
Well, I just told you a while ago, I've been producing cattle for the last 40 years. 1973, a pickup truck cost me $3,650 brand new. Today, a new pickup truck, I just bought one and it was $53,000. You see what I'm talking to you about as far as economics goes. A 4020 John Deere tractor in the 70s was $5,000. I just bought a new John Deere the other day to go on a cow farm, not a row crop farm. We don't integrate these tractors. So that tractor was 70-something thousand just to go on a cow farm, and there's several of them out there. We was buying calves back then and selling calves for $150 a head. Today I buy a cow and it's $2,000 a head. You see where we're at. We've got to have a profit. There's many things that goes into profitability on a farm or a ranch. So that's where we are as producers today. Economics have changed a long way. We're today as a cow-calf producer, we're into a profitable year. Hopefully we can stay there. But There's so many things that we have to talk about to make sure that we can sustainable again is what you're talking about there. Can we be there for another year and another 5 years down the road? Can I keep that operation running till my grandchildren take it over? So that's where I'm at economically.
So how much more expensive is it to produce a calf today than, say, 10 years ago, or maybe even when you got into the industry?
Oh, it's tripled what it cost back then. You know, feed stuffs have gone so high. Equipment costs, just like I told you, are so astronomically high today. Taxes. When you go back and you figure the whole thing, it's hard for a young farmer or rancher to get in this business. That's why that we have to do something different in this country in order to get them drawn into our business again. You talked to me a while ago about the reduction in cow herds. That's true. So we're having to be very frugal in the way that we're doing this, and we're putting more pounds on these cattle today than what we've ever put in our lives to keep up with the meat demand in this country. So, and let me talk to you just a little bit about a different route here too. Exports are one of the biggest things going in our country today. Thank God for the U.S. Meat Export Federation that's out there leading the way with for us as producers. About 14% of our nation's total supply is going into the export markets today. So that's something to think about economically. We have to be talking to our producers as well as consumers on, we've got so many things that's going today for us. You know, I could talk to you for an hour about it, but you're asking the question, so let's go.
Well, let me ask another question then. Let's ask a question about what you think the consumer, how do you think the consumer views the beef industry?
The consumer is almost fickle to a point about the beef industry. They think that we've got factory farms, which that's not right. We are producers that are proud of what we own and what we do for our living in this country. The consumer thinks that there's many things that's going into production of beef. Come down, look at let me carry you across this country to some of the feedlots that I know about. Some of my friends that's in this industry show you how that they feed their cattle on a daily basis. Come out and see them grazing the pastures in Southeast America. Look at that green, lush pasture that they're on every day and how we take care of them. So that's the way that I think that we ought to be looking at our industry, is how that we're taking care of these animals. You know, somebody's put out a bad film somewhere in this country, and that's not true, and that's not fair to the rest of the producers.
Let's talk about technology for a little bit. Technology, of course, is so vital to the industry as a whole. What technologies are you particularly using on your operation?
Today, the technologies on our operation is we use everything that comes out. We try our hardest to stay innovative with ours. We use the computers. We've got our own scales. We've got everything on our farms to take care of our cattle. If we got a sick animal today, we put him in a sick pen and we turn him around right there. We start on that. So technology has really done something for us on our own operation. We've got ways that we go out and we still own horses and we check those cattle twice a day, which I'm proud of. You know, I'm thankful that I can still ride across my farms and check and see what's going on, and that's another one of those things I'm talking to you about a while ago. They're welcome to come out and look at our operation and see how we do take care of our stuff.
Do you have a smartphone, Weldon?
Yes, sir, I do.
Now, do you have apps on there that help you make decisions regarding your operations that you look at?
Not necessarily helping me make decisions, but I've got those apps on there that I know if I've got a calf that's sick in the pasture, I can go to that app and find out in a hurry what I think is wrong with him before I call a veterinarian.
So when you're making decisions, sometimes you include some of the data that you're gathering from these different areas to help you make decisions in your operation?
Yes, sir, I do. And we couldn't do that. We couldn't get along today like we do if it wasn't for some of these innovative companies that's out there providing us with that kind of material.
Are there some areas in the operation that you wish you had more data on, that you could gather more information on?
Well, yes, that's always true, especially when you're coming down. For example, if you've got animals that are getting sick, and you've got to call in a veterinarian, where I was at a while ago in this conversation. If we had more data on that, on how to determine exactly what we're up against, that would save us as farmers and ranchers a lot of time and a lot of money. So that's one thing that I would like to talk to them about.
Well, Weldon, thank you so much for stopping by Cattle Chat Corner.
Thank you for having me.